Hi, I'm Becky Johnson with Sweetheart Quilt Design Company. And, you know, I've been having a lot of fun with these 10-inch squares and charm packs, making things. So I saw this design, and I thought that would be fun to try. So I did, and you end up with a 7-inch square, 7.5 unfinished. And one of the things that happens when you're working with 10-inch square packs and 5-inch square packs is you end up with a lot of busy prints. So after I looked at this one, I thought, wow, that with all the little piecing, that kind of came out as visual overload. So I thought, well, let's try something else. So I thought, maybe if I could make a 12.5-inch block like this. And of course, that doesn't work with the charm squares and the 10-inch squares. So I thought, well, what about an easier way to put it together? So I decided to do it with strip piecing. And it works out real simply. You just have to make 3 strip sets with 2.5-inch strips. I've got a little chart here. We can come up close to it real quickly so you can see it. But you cut 3 2.5 out of the dark and out of the light, and 3 4.5 out of the dark and the light, and 2 6.5 out of the dark and the light. And then you sew them together like this and press them all toward the dark, except the 6.5 one you want to press toward the light. So then you're going to cut, and I'll show you a little trick here for cutting with when you're working with strip sets and you're putting together a little 4-patch center like that. So you can stack these. Whoops, let's get them stacked right. Like this. Oops, there we go. And I'm making sure that my seam is nested in the middle, so those come together. And then what I'll do is I'm going to do a cleanup cut, and this is my infamous backwards cut, but you can walk around your table or turn your mat around or turn your strips around. And then we're just going to cut 2.5-inch cuts off of it. And the cool thing about that is you notice here when you pick it up, it's already nested and ready to sew. So you just have to sew down one side of it. So just a fun little trick. So anyway, when you go to make this, you sew it together like that, like this, and then you can spin the back. Because you've cut it, it'll pop open real easily, and you just make the seams all go the same direction. So I take my iron and work around and then pop that open, press it on the top. And then the next thing you're going to do is take a couple more of those pieces and sew them to the 2 sides. Now then you're going to add, you have this piece, and you're going to add from the 4.5-inch strip. Now because we spin the center and these go toward the light, then these will have to go toward the light. So you'll have to just repress those little bits. And then after you do that one, you're going to add these pieces. Whoops, I had it right in the first place. And you don't have to repress them at this step. They're the way they should be, like that. Okay, and then you can see you just add the 6.5-inch strips onto either side, and you have your block. And this amount of cutting is enough to make 12-inch finished, 12.5-inch unfinished blocks. So have fun with that.